What is up, my YouTube friends? My name is B with Bray for Snow Auto Detailing, and I of course want to welcome you to what I lovingly call the sickest garage here on the platform. We are back for another detail, and this detail is going to be so sick. This is a completely thrashed 2021 Wrangler Unlimited in Sting Gray. Now, I have a bunch of footage that is piling up because I haven't edited videos on them, but this is going to be worth it because this Jeep it's gross. It's absolutely gross. So I'm gonna put B in the corner and we're gonna watch this together because this detail was so much fun. And of course, I have story time. We are going to kick off this detail with the wheels and tires. I'll get into story time here in just a little bit, but you can see from the little summary videos there, this thing was absolutely thrashed. I've mentioned before, one of my beautiful wife and I's favorite hobbies is to take mini vacations, go on mini adventures, and during the winter here in northern Utah, it gets so cold, and sometimes it stays that way for so long. We went to get donuts yesterday at 9 in the morning-ish, and it was 12 degrees. 12 degrees, this is in March. It's nuts, and it's not that much fun, but my beautiful wife and I love to take adventures with the Jeep and the boys and just go to the desert and try and enjoy a little bit of warmth, especially in that January, February, March timeframe when things up north quite haven't warmed up. In this case, we went down to the desert and then we tried to find my baby monkey loves to play in the dirt and my son Spartacus loves to hike, and so we tried to find areas that were not muddy, and we were unsuccessful. Obviously, from the state of the Jeep, we're unsuccessful a lot of the time. That being said, we were able to find some really cool, insanely cool areas. We found some really cool slot canyons that we hiked, and it was a joy. The entire trip was so much fun, and my kids are so much fun to be around. My beautiful wife makes things fun for them, and road trips are just the best. And the Jeep, it makes, even for stock tires and just, it is an ideal vehicle. I don't condone any reckless behavior, but I do highly encourage folks to safely get out and enjoy the desert, especially during the winter, because it's sick. But why the Jeep is so muddy? Well, I've already explained it was already muddy, but when we were in the desert, we've been down this road. There's an old ghost town clear out in the desert, and we've been out there before, so we wanted to go out there again. And the road goes quite a few miles into the desert, and then it goes into a dry creek bed, or it's normally a dry creek bed, for about, I would guess, 100 yards, and then it comes back out. We've done this many times, 5 or 6 times maybe, and every time we've ever gone down it, this creek has always been dry. So we go there again thinking it's going to be dry. It was not. It was I don't want to say raging river, but it was definitely flowing quicker than I had anticipated. And the approach to get into this river road is fairly steep, and then it dropped into the river because of a little bit of erosion. So we dropped in 4-wheel drive. The Jeep is a very capable vehicle. Drove through, came out the other side, we were just fine. We hiked around a little bit, which is why the floor mats are in such horrible shape. And then we got back in the Jeep, we came back out, and we get into the river road again. When we were in it, we got all the way to the very end, just creeping along, not going out of control fast. And when we got to the very end, what we discovered is that erosion that I thought wasn't that bad when we had gotten into the river was actually pretty bad trying to get back out. We hit it, and as soon as we got the front tires up a little ways, the rear tires hit it, and it just could not get enough traction to get out, so we were stuck. So as I backed it up, the river was pushing the Jeep a little bit harder than I had thought at first, and it pushed us sideways, so we were fully in the river, and then we sunk. It was bad. I didn't know what to do. I chuckled a little bit. Obviously, I was stressed in the moment, but I debated if we could jump from the roof of the Jeep to the shoreline. It was quite a jump, but I didn't know if we could do that because I didn't know how else we were going to get out. And it was flowing quick enough. I didn't want my beautiful wife or my kids to have to try and ford the river. So I gave it one more shot. put it into 4 low. The Jeep has auto manual, so I kicked it over into that and then just gassed it. And we crept up the river because we dug down deep enough that we inched up the river a little ways, put it into reverse, and then I got out of the river as much as I could and backed up the river road almost all the way to the other side where we had gone out already once before and it was totally fine. So we turned around and then gave it heck again, and the consequence was the Jeep ended up in a super muddy state, but the benefit was we got out of the river. So booyah, we were so pumped. It was stressful at the time. I won't lie. I didn't handle it. I almost lost my cool, but my wife was super chill. She's way supportive. She knows that when I get into crazy situations, I just have to focus up, and she's pretty incredible. But of course, the consequence is the Jeep looked like this. Now, she made the recommendation to take it to a car wash and rinse the majority of the mud off so that we didn't have to deal with the floor in the state that it's in right here. Great suggestion. I really should have done that. Again, I need to be better about listening to her, but I slacked off. And this, look at the garage floor. That's me not listening right there. It was a lot more mud than I had anticipated being in there. And so here's scooping up mud. It was just trying to get on top of how much mud was actually in the garage. It was bad. Worth it and awesome, but bad. And one thing that I confess, when we go and have adventures, my family and I, when we go and have these what I consider super sick adventures, I'm really bad because I don't do them to generate content. Even though I love being a content creator and I love making these videos and I love detailing, I don't think in the form that, hey, this is going to be a sick thing. It would look sick on camera. I should film this and make it some B-roll in here. I don't think that way, but I really need to, because some of these things that we do, some of these adventures we go on are actually really cool and would look really cool overlaid with the consequence, which of course is detailing it, and how the trail or the river or whatever it was looked when we were crossing it. So I'll try that. That's my goal this summer, is to get better at bringing you along for the ride, because I think it's sick and it's so much fun. Not only is it detailing fun, but those adventures are sick. So it would be cool to just overlay them here as we're doing the detail. Cause and effect. Oh my gosh. It was so muddy. And that red mud it's sticky. A huge benefit to ceramic coatings, almost nothing stuck on the paint, which is awesome. And I've done the plastic protection underneath, so really once I switched heads from the white head to this little bit more narrow head, doesn't fan out quite as much, it rinsed off really well, even off of these running boards. Oh, and a total side note about the running boards, one thing I discovered in watching other Jeeps when we were in town, going to the hotel or whatever over the weekend, I saw other Jeeps and the whole sides of their Jeep was covered in mud, and I couldn't figure out why this beep beep was not that muddy. What I discovered is these running boards act as really epic, and I mean insanely epic, fender flares. They really do. The mud flap effect of these right here is incredible, and they're really hard to clean out because the angles and all that, you just have to stick the pressure washer under there for what feels like forever. But it's kind of cool that it keeps the sides, the doors at least, it keeps them really protected from mud like this. Always has little rocks in it, and so if you're flipping that up, whatever speed your tires are going, it's going to scratch the side of your doors or whatever it hits. So really cool. I really like and the running boards make it easy to get in. If we ever lift this thing, which fingers crossed we do pretty soon, then it's just going to help that much more to get in. So and now ranting, now we're going to move on to the interior, and I do have to totally talk to this. One thing I've noticed is people don't understand how vehicles can get so dirty on the inside. Now, the Jeep is dirty. I didn't have to, I didn't carpet clean because I never have a bunch of time to detail the Jeep. It's always in between customer vehicles, and the Atlas is the same way. But people have a hard time understanding how the insides just get so thrashed. Now, this right here is just from the road trip, which wasn't that crazy. I mean, it was a couple of days, but just from the road trip. So my wife is really good to pack a bunch of stuff for the kids to do in the car so they don't get super bored. And then we got back, I detailed the outside, and then the following day, Spartacus and I went snowboarding. So that blanket right there a second ago, that was for, so the Jeep doesn't really get wet because snowboarding, snow, wet. And so it's crazy that without condemning or condoning any of my customers, I can relate on how dirty the interior of vehicles get. Literally, this is just a few days in the desert, and then look at how thrashed these floor mats are. I mean, of course we have treats because I dig treats, and that's gonna be on the floor mats, but my kids are really good to be mostly clean, but the inside of vehicles, they get beat up. They really do. I love detailing interiors, but sometimes they're worse. And the carpets in this Jeep really aren't that bad either, which is sick. And on the floor mats, I did a science experiment. I've been told that Meguiar's 40, I read the instructions on Meguiar's 40. Somebody recommended Meguiar's 40 to protect floor mats, so I did it. I tested it out. I love CarPro Pearl. It's one of my favorite products for plastic protection and rubber and vinyl protection, whatever you want to call it. I really dig that, but somebody said, hey, try Meguiar's 40, so I did. It's a good product. I don't like the smell. My sense of smell is somewhat coming back. I can tell it's a strong smell, and CarPro Pearl is just, it makes it look as good. It just doesn't have as strong of a smell. Regardless, the packaging on this says that it cleans and protects. I wanted to test the limits of the cleaning portion and the protection portion. So what I did was I vacuumed it off, as you saw, with the DeWalt vacuum, and then I spray it on. I used an older detailing brush, and that's all I did. And they came out really, really well. Usually I would, especially ones that are this muddy, I would just pressure wash them off and not even mess around. But I wanted to test and see how far or how capable this Meguiar's 40 was. And I can say that I was somewhat impressed. I think it went really, really well. I think they turned out well. Would I do it on customer vehicles? No, not even close. I'll still use it maybe to protect different floor mats, depending on, I guess, how I feel that day. But as far as using it for a cleaner, no, I'm just gonna use a pressure washer, which is my preferred method, and then a brush with some type of, most of the time I just use a shampoo. Sometimes I'll use a degreaser or an APC because the floor mats get really gross, especially on a construction vehicle. They can have some nasty stuff on them, but it was a fun test. I do love to test new detailing products, and when people suggest things like this to me, I love it. So if you have any products that you want tested or anything, comment down below and I'll give it a try. Another thing that I have been thinking is that I should probably wrap the Jeep. I've got everything set up. I'm gonna start wrapping just as customers want, because it just gives my customers another option. But along the lines of commenting with suggestions, if you have a color that you would like to see the Jeep, I really like, obviously, green. That's kind of the way I want to go. And there's some cool metallic greens out there, but I want to see what y'all think. If y'all think that the Jeep would look cool as a different color, let me know, because I plan on wrapping it hopefully pretty soon. I don't know when, but hopefully it ends up being pretty soon, because I think it would be so sick to have the Jeep in just a fun color. I'm not going to do any advertising on the side of it, but it would be sick to have the Jeep as just some crazy color and then change it down the road if I want to. And along the lines of commenting or requesting comments, I need some input. I want to get some tires, some new actual tires, because these, obviously, this one still has a hole in it. And I need something that's a little bit more aggressive of tread. I don't think the river crossing, or the attempt at the river crossing, would have been as bad if I would have had real tires, big boy tires, but these are just really pavement pounders. So any suggestions on tires? I don't want to go too extreme because I do a lot of road driving to get to the off-road driving. It's about, I don't know, 60-40 split maybe. So if you have any suggestions for affordable tires, throw that down below too. Moving on to the interior portion of the detail, I'm going to use a detailing brush. I use the old rags because it was a little bit muddy, and I like the new rags for the customer vehicles. And this The Jeep I love, but it's not a customer vehicle. And I value those a lot, or the detail on those a lot. So I used my P&S Express interior detailer on the plastics. There wasn't a ton. Again, the Jeep, this is more of a maintenance wash than anything, and I didn't use steam, I didn't carpet clean. I really don't have a bunch of time, or didn't have a bunch of time to do this detail. So I didn't use the carpet cleaner. What else? So I didn't use the carpet cleaner, I didn't use steam. I obviously protected the plastics and cleaned them, and that was really it. Oh, I didn't use the Tornador either because I didn't have to. The main concentration of dust and dirt and debris was on the floor mats. So the vacuum very quickly. I had to do the seat a little bit in between where the boys sit, but really this detail was fairly low key. It was just so muddy. Oh my goodness, the outside was so bad. And those floor mats, it took a long time. I know speeding up the clips doesn't do it 100% justice, but I don't think you'd want to be here for 3 hours as we sit and watch the entire detail without any speeding up at all. It would just, I could sit here and do it because I do it, but I don't know if y'all would actually watch. That'd be cool. Do you know what? We should do that one time. Do you think we should do that? I think it would be so cool. Oh, now I'm thinking about it. It would be so neat to have a full length detail. Maybe I'll do a live stream or something. I really don't know if anybody would watch that. It would be, speaking of science projects, that would be really cool to try out if I did a live. Holy cow. I don't think I'd want to do it on a customer vehicle. Maybe on the Atlas or the Jeep next time. That would be sick, actually. Maybe I'll do that. Ideas. Sorry, tangents. CarPro Pearl for the interior protection because it's amazing and it's a fantastic product. I've actually used the leather 2.0 on the steering wheel in the Jeep. I had some left over from, I can't remember. I gave it away as a birthday present to somebody. And I protected all their leather, and then I had some left over in the bottle, so I ended up doing my beautiful wife's front seats in the Atlas and her steering wheel, and then I did the steering wheel in mine, and it's in the Jeep, and it was awesome. I really do like that CarPro Leather 2.0, and I really should have got this Jeep with leather seats because cloth seats are hard. But CarPro Pearl on the plastics, which make them look amazing, helps protect from those UV rays, and the Jeep I didn't do before or afters because I wrapped up this detail and then we had to go somewhere. I mean, it's my vehicle and I don't have a bunch of extra cars to run around doing stuff. It just, life doesn't work out that way. So this detail was sick. I really, really love a bunch of these products that I use. When I do details, when I detail my own vehicle, I try and use the stuff that I know is going to detail it quickly and the stuff that I know is going to work really well. And so that's what I do, and it works out so good. I love making videos. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate the support more than I can express in words. It's still winter here in Utah, so things are still, we haven't ramped up the detailing yet. I do have a bunch of footage backlogged, and I'm going to get to that pretty quick. Hopefully I'll get back to the once a week epic detail postings. I'm probably gonna do a couple of these formats because I like them. I think it's fun. And also, you guys are epic. Thank you so much for the support. Catch you on the next one.